let's get into the topic of today, because chord progressions doesn't sound very sexy, as I said before, but it really is so key to many of the more sexy piano dreams that we have. And I had a friend who is also a piano teacher recently commented on one of my posts about this coaching, and she was saying, oh my gosh, I wish that I had learned about chord progressions earlier in my career. And I had to agree, because for me, I went through all of my traditional piano training and it well into it was first year, end of my first year in my music degree, when I actually started to discover harmony and chord progressions, and this idea that we have that we can talk about chord progressions in a certain way. That means we can apply it in lots of different situations. We can recognize them. We can use them to a purposeful effect in our songwriting. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm saying is, I didn't learn this in my traditional piano lessons. So it has been one of the pillars that I make really important to teach in my piano courses and in my lessons online. So here we go, 10 pianist payoffs for one topic. So that's what I mean is there's 10 benefits to learning about this one topic of chord progressions. Here we go. So the first payoff is it will increase understanding of the songs that you play. Because if you know what the main chord progressions are, the common ones, you can recognize them. You'll recognize them when you're playing a normal song. And that's not just good for understanding. Well, it's great for understanding the songs that we play, because then you'll realize that at the heart of them, they're actually kind of simple. You know, a song might sound really, really complicated. You might be having trouble to memorize all the different notes that you need to learn to play that song. Once you notice what the chord progression is beneath it, then it's a lot easier to remember. It's a lot easier to remember the sequence of chord names, say 4 chord names in a row, than it is to remember all the individual notes that are played within all of those chords, right? So it's a great tool for memorization when we can understand the songs that we're playing a bit better. So let's go into the next one. I'm going to go through these really quickly today because I don't want to bend your ear off. Payoff 2, we'll be building our songwriting skills. So the more you know about chord progression, the more you can take those common chord progressions that you already know or that you've already seen in the songs that you play, and you can go and put them into your own songs. Because there's one thing about songwriting is it's not about trying to make up something brand new and something completely original. We take things that are popular and things that we've seen in other songs that we like, and we copy them and add our own unique spin to them. So, payoff for songwriting. The next thing is, payoff 3 is we expand our keyboard visualization, right? The more that we learn about harmony and how it looks on the keyboard, the more when we go to the keyboard, we see different options. You know, when you first start to learn the keyboard, and you would have already found this in whatever level that you're at, when you first start to learn the keyboard, it seems like an endless amount of options. To someone that doesn't know much about the piano, the keyboard looks super daunting, right? It's 88 keys, it's all these white keys, all these black keys. When you first look at it, it seems like, how do you tell them apart? How do you tell which one to play, right? It's when you learn the patterns of black notes in relation to the white notes and the little groups of 2s and 3s, and you start to learn the names of each note, and in fact, instead of there being 88 keys, there's actually 12 keys that are repeated. You know, the more you learn, the less daunting the piano becomes. And it's the same when you learn about chord progressions. You start to see, when you look at the keyboard, you see possibilities. You say, oh, well, there's my 1, 4, 5 right there. Okay, so we expand our visualization. What else? We improve your improv, because if you know about chord progressions and you've learned which notes go into those common chord progressions, when you're in a situation where you need to improvise either completely freely and make up your own chords, then you can just choose one of the common chord progressions and then you're sorted. Or if you are having to improvise on a chord progression within a song that you're already playing, you will have already been able to understand the song better, and therefore be able to interpret the chords that are in the song rather than just go, oh, I have to play lots of notes now. Okay, so it improves our improv. Now, I just want to say, if all of this doesn't make sense, it's okay. The individual points that I'm making and why chord progressions applies to each situation, I'm sort of trying to run through everything really quickly. But if you sort of get some things and don't get other things, that's okay. What I'm trying to say overall is that chord progressions, the knowledge of chord progressions basically touches every single creative aspect of playing the piano. So the more you know, the better a creative pianist you're going to be. That's the golden nugget. Okay, let's move on. We've done, wait, did we? Yep, we did 4. Then we're going to enhance our air playing, obviously, because if we know more about the common chord progressions, then we're more likely to hear them in a song that we're trying to work out by ear. And if we recognize a common chord progression when we're listening to it, then oh my goodness, it makes your job so much easier when you're trying to play a song by ear. I mean, that's the name of the game. And the more chord progressions that you learn and are able to recognize, no matter what key they're in, the better and more unstoppable you are going to be at playing songs by ear. So that's that one. Number 6 is you will grow confidence and flexibility. Confidence means that the more you know about common chord progressions, the more obviously you can improvise, you can songwrite, you can feel confident in your ability to do things on the fly and learn songs. It's just going to increase your general confidence as a musician, and also make you more flexible. So if you thought that you couldn't improvise before, perhaps after learning more chord progressions, becoming familiar with them, the next time you go to improvise, you're going to be more flexible and being able to give that a go. Oh, and also flexibility, I want to say that applies to different genres as well. It can help you be more flexible over genres, because common chord progressions that we study in this coaching session coming up tomorrow is they are across different genres. They're not just in one particular genre. They are all within Western popular music, but classical, jazz, blues, pop, country, you name it, these chord progressions are used in all of those genres. So by learning these common chord progressions, it allows you to be flexible across different genres as well. Next, we have path 7 is elaborate on repertoire. So as I was saying before, it's similar to improv. If you have a song that you've learned and you're able to recognize the chord progression that's beneath all the individual notes, then you will be confident enough to add more notes if you wanted to sort of elaborate and do little flurries or ornaments on some of the notes. You can be confident of which notes are going to fit into that song without making it something completely different, because you know what the chords are underneath all those individual notes. So it helps us to elaborate on repertoire if we want to. We can extend our interpretation of lead sheets. So if we're learning from a lead sheet and we recognize one of these common chord progressions or a chord progression that we've studied before, then you can just pluck out of your memory of practicing those chord progressions the different voicings you can use with your hands, any extra little riffs that you've rehearsed before on that common chord progression, you can just insert into that song of the lead sheet. So being familiar with these chord progressions basically means that we're preparing for a lot of the songs that we're going to come across, so that it's not just a whole 20 random chords that we have to lead from the lead sheets. It's a series of chord progressions that we're actually already familiar with. Cool. Number 9, we are broadening our musical language. And the more you know about chord progressions, the names of the chords, how to talk about them in a way that it isn't tied down to a specific key, which is our Roman numerals that we use to talk about chord progressions. The more you know about that stuff, the more of an educated musician you are, and you can have those sorts of conversations with other musicians, and you just sound fancy, for goodness sake. And number 10 is to enrich. It will enrich your music learning experience, and just overall, by de facto, from learning from all those other 9 benefits that we have. If you are studying chord progressions and you're becoming more and more familiar with them, not just when you see them written on a page, but you can also hear them and identify them, and you're also practicing them in different ways on the keyboard, then you're just leveling up. You're leveling up as a pianist and as a musician, and it's going to enrich your entire music experience. And even as a listener, even if you're just listening to music, you'll start to identify those common chord progressions when you hear them, which is very exciting. And you're just going to become a harmony geek. It's just what happens, because once you learn more about chord progressions, it is addictive, wanting to know what is behind all these amazing songs that you love. Hi, Bev says, finally able to get in. Hello, thank you for joining us. Did I have trouble logging into Facebook today? I feel like it's one of those days. I've got my coffee. My piano's not even set up, Bev. I have to display this keyboard I just popped in the background so that there would be a piano in the scene. It's a mess. But we're allowed those days. Bev, you might have to go back and watch the rest, because we've come to the end of our 10 payoffs for learning chord progressions. But oops, what have I done there? I do want to just draw your attention, anyone who's watching, we're doing this chord progressions coaching that I'm talking about chord progressions, this extremely not sexy topic, but actually after today's stream, hopefully you are more excited about the possibilities of learning chord progressions. We're doing this training tomorrow. It's going to be a 1-hour training, hopefully, if I can keep to 1 hour. It might be over. But you can join. Anyone that's watching this can join this coaching. All you need to go is all you need to do is go to pianopitnet.com/coaching, and you can come and join us.